Inventory and interactions. In a TripVenture game, the player can collect items and carry them around in his inventory. The player can interact with these items by using them with other items and non-playing characters. The player may combine items to create new ones, give them to non-playing characters, or perform any other interaction you can think of. Most interactions happen with items. In the editor, you can add items to your game using the inventory panel. You can move, shrink, or close the inventory panel. If closed, you can reopen the panel by clicking the inventory button in the editor's top toolbar. To create a new item, choose the New button in the inventory panel. The window Edit Interaction element pops up. Here we can define the properties of our flowers item and choose an image for the active item by drag and drop. The inactive image is optional. There is a Can't Use message, which is a default text displayed to the player if he tries to perform an undefined interaction with the item. After editing, you need to save the game model using the Save button in the editor's top toolbar. We want to play around now with the item and therefore add some interactions to it. Press the Interaction button to do so. A dialog opens in which we can define what the player can do with an item, meaning verbs such as use, give, take, or anything else you can think of. On the left-hand side, you can see all items listed. The panel on the right lists potential objectives for interactions that involve other items or non-playing characters. We want something to happen with the flowers. We right-click the flowers and add an interaction. A double-click allows us to name it and edit the settings. We can opt for the Can't Use message again. This time a message is displayed to the player whenever this interaction is applied to an item or a character and no specific action was defined for it. This message is more specific and overrules the message originally defined for the item. We need to define now what kind of effect the interaction should have. Right-click the item and add an action placeholder. We double-click the placeholder to open an action window. The New button in the toolbar allows us to select an inner monologue action, which simply displays a text to the player, and add a vibration action to it. After closing the windows with OK, we need to save the game model. Even though the item exists, the player will not possess it at the beginning of the game. We will add it to the inventory the moment the player enters Scene 1. We start the simulator now and enter Scene 1 to check if the flowers appear in the inventory. A click on the item reveals the available interactions to the player. We select the On-Touch interaction and the action we defined previously is executed. We demonstrate now the interaction with other scene elements such as non-playing characters. We define a new interaction, Combine 1. For simplicity, we select the scene element of the game map and drag the icon from the right panel onto the interaction. Combine 1 will only be available when the player is in the map scene. After we received the flowers in Scene 1, we try to use the interaction on the map element. But TripVenture doesn't offer an objective for Combine 1. What went wrong? We need to tell the engine that scene element is available for interaction. Map scene elements are not available for interaction by default. This is because they often represent locations and the player does not interact with locations. Augmented reality scene elements are interactive by default, as they mostly represent non-playing characters or items. You can tick the box called Interactive Property by opening the map scene elements details. Let us test this again now. As you can see now, the scene element is listed on the overlay. After choosing the element for our interaction, the internal monologue action is executed. Next, we want to demonstrate an interaction between two items. We therefore need a second item, a koala bear. The koala gets a new interaction called Combine 2 with an inner monologue. But this time we tie the interaction to the flowers. To make it a two-way interaction, we copy and paste it to the flowers and change the objective from flowers to koala. To distinguish the two cases, we change the inner monologue's text. We must not forget to add the koala to the player's inventory at the beginning of the game. Let's test our changes. Wouldn't it be more fun to use the flowers to catch the koala? This is easily done with the editor. First, we define an interaction between the flowers and the scene element. This is basically the luring part. When the koala eats the flowers, we can quickly catch it. The subsequent action is that the koala is added to the inventory of the player while the flowers disappear. The koala bear should remain hidden in Scene 1. Let's test this. Finally, we would like to show you the effect of the can't use message. We define a message for the koala. This message is optional. The global fallbacks message has the key can't use that. We save the changes and start the simulator to view the results. In the game state panel, there are sections that show different aspects of the game state and let you modify them. We go to the inventory section and add the koala item to check our can't use that message. The inventory now contains one item, and when we open it, we see the koala bear. We tap on it and choose the interaction called Combine 2. If we now choose the koala again, since we don't have any other item yet, our message is displayed to the player.